I'm back. I know that the intro video was uploaded more than a week ago and I definitely didn't mean to leave it this long, but welcome back because today I'm going to talk about some of my most anticipated albums of 2019. So, first one is definitely one that's been on the horizon for a long time, and for a while I wasn't sure it was actually going to happen. The number 12 Looks Like You is releasing a new album. So this is one of my old mathcore sweethearts, a band that I've listened to since I was a teenager. I absolutely loved each of their albums, and they absolutely went out on a high with Worse Than Alone, even though there were some split opinions about it. But with them being back, and with some of the stuff that I've heard in studio, studio diaries and studio updates, this shit's gonna be the fucking bomb. You know, they are odd, they're experimental. If you haven't listened to them before, they are similar to last year's Noises that were on my top list. So if you've listened to them and haven't listened to number 12, check it out. You've got a few different albums of absolute insanity in front of you. The first album has some screamo influences. Later on, they've got a bit of everything, really. It's an incredible band. Check it out. Next up, Sleep Sculptor. Again, last year they were on my top list, and from what I've heard so far from the band and the descriptions they've given, holy shit, this album is gonna be something else. So they're a big bunch of Danza fans. So Tony Danza, Tap Dance Extravaganza, tapping, dissonant stuff and chugs are definitely going to be part of this, on top of the already great mixture of sort of beat down riffs and heavy breakdowns mixed with some insanely high blood curdling screams reminiscent of things like Arsonists Get All the Girls. So another one that's a bit MySpacey, similar to number 12 that I mentioned before. And moving forward, I think this band is absolutely going to become huge. They've already released the artwork by Hunter, who's one of the vocalists in the band. That's right, 2 vocalists. And it looks phenomenal. So definitely looking forward to that. Looking forward to some great merch from them. Definitely keep an eye out. On a completely different end of the spectrum, not MySpacey at all, is Dreadnought. So Dreadnought have released a few different albums, all of them very elemental in theme, similar to what Mastodon did before, but musically, not Mastodon at all. Musically, it's like a mix of black metal, doom, and some 70s prog, which I think may sound a bit odd to some of you, but trust me, the unconventional instrumentation, the female vocals, the heaviness, the beauty, it all overlaps in a beautiful, epic sound. So check out some of their previous albums. Their last album from 2 years ago was extraordinary, but unfortunately got into it a bit late, so it didn't end up on my top list, but I got into it a lot last year, so give it a go. But make sure you give yourself some time, because they are one of those bands that tend to have songs ranging from about 9 minutes to about 17. So they've released their first single. If I remember correctly, it's about 13 or 14 minutes. I haven't yet given myself time to sit down and listen to it, but when I will, I'll give you an update on how it sounds. So, another one that I'm extremely excited about. It's a band that has not gotten nearly enough attention, and it's Mikau. So Mikau were on my top list about 2 years ago with a self-titled EP, which absolutely blew me away. This album was about 10 minutes long, but it was some of the best Nintendo core I've heard since Horst the Band very prematurely called it quits. So it's shouty, it's sassy, it's filled with all these different noises. It is pretty fucking phenomenal. So give that EP a go. It's only about 10 minutes of your time, and trust me when I say you'll figure out within seconds whether it is something you'll like or not. But speaking of Horst the Band, they are coming out with an EP. So this is something they launched a while back, something through a Bitcoin or cryptocurrency thing. I can't quite remember what it was all about, but someone signed up to fund the album, but they would only release the funds when it came out or something. I don't know, I didn't put money in it, but I'm sure as hell gonna buy it when it comes out. If you're not familiar with Horst the Band, again, like I said, in the Mikau section, they have like a Nintendo core kind of sound. They've got weird synths, they are hardcore as hell, they've got a lot of video game references, and their last album was absolutely phenomenal. So give that a go. It was a massive step forward for the band. They'd always been great. I got into them through the Mechanical Hand, but genuinely that final album was absolutely extraordinary. What else is exciting this year? So an Albatross, another one of my old sweethearts from the mathcore era, the golden era, they're coming back. Now, my friend Troy and I wrote on Daedric Influence a while back about all these different bands that were sort of somehow connected to Daughters, and with Daughters coming out with a new album last year and an Albatross coming back this year, it is the golden fucking age of MySpace coming back. All we need is Hayworth to get back onto the scene and release a follow-up to I Now Pronounce You Fucked and Depressed, because if there was some sort of tour of Daughters and Albatross and Hayworth, I genuinely think I could just retire from seeing shows, because an Albatross somehow went from weird grind to whatever the hell a Family album was, because the Family album had all these hymns, it had this weird almost gospel feel to it where it felt like some sort of spacey pseudo-religion, and it's absolutely crazy. Nothing quite sounds like it, so definitely give that a go if you haven't already and you're into something, well, to be honest, something weird as shit. So finally, and trust me, there are a load of albums I could have talked about. As you all know that know me in real life, I listen to way too much music on a daily basis, but there are a couple that are really close to my heart that are hopefully coming out. Most importantly, if Fear Before actually stick to their promise of new material, that is like a guaranteed not 10 out of 10, I think, because man, I'm such a Fear Before fanboy. But with that aside, because to be honest, I don't think we can count on it, I'll say, look, I'm actually really excited to hear the new Periphery album. I know they're a bit of a divider of the scene. I know some people absolutely love them, some people hate them, and to be honest, I'm a bit divided myself because they've now released 2 singles. Blood Eagle, despite the historical inaccuracies, but I won't go into that, is a phenomenal track. The heaviness, the almost Haken-like feel of the middle section was fantastic, but the new single hasn't quite grabbed me. I need to give that a few more spins, but I am very excited to see what they do because they have released some phenomenal material in the past. So, like I said, I wanted to highlight a couple of albums, but really I'm curious, what are some of your most anticipated albums of this year? Because I'm definitely looking to not miss out on anything like I did last year, because I've been catching up on some incredible albums that I sort of missed the boat on last year, including the Mains album. Great sort of experimental electronic avant pop kind of thing, as well as Kaonashi, who I got into too late, who are absolutely crushing both emotionally and musically. So I'm trying to make sure that I keep up with everything this year. I've just seen the new Warforged album drop in my inbox, which I cannot wait to give a spin because they've done some phenomenal stuff in the past. So let me know what's exciting. If you're releasing an album this year, let me know. I would love to write about it and really just cover it, because like I'm trying to get back into this whole music journalism thing. It was great while I was writing about it, and I think it can be even greater now that I'm doing it in video format. So keep in touch, let me know what you're anticipating, and keep an eye on those albums, because I have a feeling they're going to be a surprise if you don't know the bands already.